news at 1. My name is Ruth WAIRIMU, and my sign language interpreter doing the voicing is Wanjangede. Let us focus on the news items. President William Ruto has pledged to continue pursuing his affordable housing agenda despite a High Court ruling that quashed the housing levy, a key funding source for the project. The president emphasized the importance of the project, creating employment opportunities, and promised to resolve legal issues surrounding the housing levy. Meanwhile, Kenyans will continue paying the housing levy for the next month as the High Court suspended its earlier ruling that the law was unconstitutional until January, allowing the government to appeal to the Court of Appeal. In the ruling, Justice David Majanja, Christine Meoli, and Lawrence declared the housing levy unconstitutional due to its discriminatory nature and creation of unequal principles.
Conversation with the Director General, and he was explaining to me how he found a conversation in Berlin about Kenya's engagement with the German government on bilateral labor agreement that will facilitate more Kenyans to work in Germany as we work on our bilateral labor agreements so that we can make the labor or migrant workers not a problem but a solution. So again, we are working in that space to increase the number of people, whether they are working locally, whether they are working in foreign, and whether they are working in remote locations. The whole concept is to create more workers so that because Kenya is a country of workers. So that commitment I have made, and as I told you, I have kept that commitment. We now have 120,000, and my plan is that by 2027, you will have 500,000 people working. That is the plan. I know the court have said we should go and readjust the law to make it aligned appropriately. That we are going to do, so that the 120,000 people can become 200,000 and can become 500,000 in the next 5 years. Because if we don't engage these people in productive work, they will become a very big challenge to all of us. The young people out there, unless we create real opportunities. And you know, we used to talk about we're going to grow the economy and the economy is going to create jobs. It's now beyond that. We have to be deliberate. We have to be intentional about where we are going to create those jobs.
And on to our next news. At least 120 people have been killed by flood-related incidents in the country. Over 89,000 households have been displaced. This is according to Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo. To mitigate the risk, PS Omolo says that the government has set up a command center at the National Disaster Operations Center in Nyayo House, Nairobi. The center is responsible for collecting and reporting flood disaster information from across the country. He further revealed that a multi-agency team comprising 11 ministries and their relevant agencies has also been established to provide early warning information, flood alerts, flood preparedness, safety, and emergency response information to stakeholders. The Council of Governors, the Red Cross Society have also been authorized to enhance response and interventions being implemented.
Tunapokaa hata neti hakuna, watoto saa hii wanaharisha. Ukienda hospitali hakuna madawa, barabara zimekatika. Mahali tulipo tunaumia njaa, choo hakuna, maji hakuna, kwa sababu tunatumia haya maji ambayo yametufurusha mahali tulikuwa, maji mekundu. Ndio manake watoto wameshikwa na magonjwa. Mimi mahali nilipo mjamzito, tangu asubuhi sijakula.
Maji yalipotukujia mpaka leo hatuna usaidizi wote, hatuna mahema. Watoto wetu wengine, mtoto wa dadangu pia alikufa na maji tukiwa tuko madogo, tukatoka madogo tukakuja hapa. Saa hii pia nyumba zetu ni hizi mnaziona, hatuna usaidizi wowote. Kama ni kazi sisi hatuna kazi. Njaa ndio inaua watoto wetu.
Kwa sababu kijiji kimesombwa na maji. Tukahama, tukaenda mbali na maji kidogo. Mara mvua ikaongezeka na maji nayo yakazidi. Tukahama tena, tukakuja hapa. Na kusema kweli kutoka hiyo mvua ianze, ni kama mvua yenyewe tumebarikiwa sisi. Kwa sababu si chini, si juu, juu chini maji, juu mvua. Tuonyeshe tuna watoto, wanawake na watoto, sisi wenyewe. Yaani hakuna shirika la kusema kweli limetutegemea, kwa sababu sisi angalia, hema tukupewa.
From October to date, 120 people have unfortunately died and their families have been duly informed. 9 bodies were retrieved from Mombasa, while 4 were retrieved from Lake Victoria. A total of 89,000 households have been displaced and are being hosted in a record 112 camps established in the affected counties. All the major dams are likewise being monitored, but Kiambere Dam, which has just about a meter remaining for it to overflow, and the government is enhancing power generation to mitigate the challenge.
I want to put all our drivers on notice that should we find you, even after you've crossed the dangerously flooded river, we will still carry out punishment in terms of cancellation of the licenses, and you can also be charged for attempted suicide.
On to our next news item. Kisii Governor Simba Arati Tuesday called for dialogue with his political rivals so as to forge a united front in developing the devolved unit. The county boss, already facing dissent from his deputy Robert Monda, appeared to strike a reconciliatory tone at a rally Tuesday in Nyameche, Bobasi, saying the county needs efforts of all to move forward. The ODM party vice chair also said he was no angel, adding that he equally makes mistakes.
Na nataka niulize kwamba wale wenzetu wote wako kule nje ambao wako na nia nyingine yoyote, tunawakaribisha tuongee pamoja, tuijenge Kisii County na tuijenge nchi yetu. Kwa hivyo wale ndugu zetu wote, dada zetu, tunataka tuwakaribishe, tuongee, tupate mahali kuna shida, tupeleke Kisii County vile vile nchi yetu mbele. Kitu moja peke yake. Mimi kama gavana wenu, ndio mimi si mweupe kama pamba, mimi si malaika, lakini ufisadi, mimi nimeona ufisadi ukitembea uji mbele yangu. I've seen corruption naked walking in front of me. I will not entertain wizi ule. mimi kama nimechaguliwa kama kiongozi, kazi yangu ya kwanza ni kuhakikisha, kwa sababu wale wananipigia wengi ni maskini, na kazi yangu lazima niifanye kuhakikisha kwamba wananchi watukufu wa Kisii na nchi yetu wameona Kanani ambao tulikuwa tumeimba kwa siku nyingi. Kwa hivyo mniwie radhi. Mtu yoyote anadhania kwamba mimi hata nisuluhisha nipate kuiba mali ya umma nimpe, nasema ng'oo. Afadhali mimi mnanilipa mshahara, nyinyi hakuna mtu analipwa nyinyi mshahara. Ni nani atalipwa nyinyi mshahara kama tutaiba mali yenu? Nimesema wale ambao ndugu zetu ambao walikuwa na pending bills katika akaunti yetu, mimi nitalipa ninyi wale ambao mlifanya kazi. Lakini waliofanya kazi ndugu zangu, siazipeana pesa.
Siaya Governor James Orengo has challenged the East Africa community states to show their readiness for a regional federation by opening up Lake Victoria for fishermen from member states. Orengo said it was deceitful for the EAC member states of Uganda and Tanzania to continue harassing Kenya fishermen whenever they find themselves outside the Kenyan waters. He was speaking at Liunda Beach in Bondo sub-county on Tuesday during the county's World Fisheries Day celebrations. The celebrations were marked by several activities that included boat racing.
We undertake as a county to offer training for those willing for the 243 new elected BMU leaders to strengthen the governance of the sector. We also want to engage with the private sector, as some people have alluded earlier, so that we can increase the capacity of the blue economy, and more particularly the fishing industry. We are also concerned about the unused fish cages in the lake, and we will call upon other partners to undertake a process of cleaning up this dirt that is in the lake. We clear all the unused fish cages in the lake. And I want to give a commitment that in the next 2 months we will deliver a patrol boat to the beach management unit for Leona Beach. And the most important thing which I want to say on this occasion about the security in the lake, Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania are members of this African community. They are members of this African community. And they have already started a process of having a union, some kind of federal system that will bring together the nations of East Africa, East and Central Africa. And the community is growing bigger. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is there, Sudan, South Sudan is there, and recently even Somalia became part of the East African community. It does not augur well, and looking into the future, it does not look right that this common resource, if Kenyans cannot exploit it as a common resource for the community, if Tanzanians cannot be able to use this resource as a common resource for the community, if Ugandans cannot use it as a common resource, then it shows that the will to have a union for East and Central Africa a federal system, it shows that the road is still very far. Because a Kenyan should be able to go into this water, into Uganda, into Tanzania, and vice versa. Because God did not put boundaries in the lake. It is us who have made those boundaries in the lake. The fish in the lake also doesn't know these boundaries. Like now we are thinking of stocking Kenyaboli. We could also stock the lake, which will be good for the whole of East Africa. But once you stock the fish in the lake, and one of the chair of the beach management unit said stocks of fish are falling in the lake. If we want to stock the fish in the lake, when the fish is grown up, or even the moment you introduce fingerlings, they're free to go to any part of these waters. So those artificial boundaries which do not reflect what nature designed are necessary if you want to become one East African community, one federation of East and Central and Africa, and the whole of the Horn of Africa. Therefore, the Kenyan government, the national government, should do some serious talk with the Ugandan government.
And on to our next news item. The Senate Committee on Trade and Investment has forced to postpone its investigation into the 16.5 billion shillings edible oils scandal due to the inability of top Ministry of Trade and Investment officials to provide the location of imported cooking oil. The committee's decision to adjourn came during a hearing where Trading and Investment Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano appeared to answer questions about the whereabouts of the imported oil. However, Miano's attempts to delay the proceedings were met with resistance from the committee, which insisted on seeing the oil before continuing the investigation. Miano's request to postpone the hearing stemmed from the summons of Kenya National Trading Corporation Managing Director Pamela Mutua by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Mutua, along with other KNTC officials, was arrested on Monday evening and spent the night in police custody. We are going for a short break. We will be back with the sports news.